You know that famous letter that Engels wrote? Engels wrote a letter in which he said, "You ask me what the English working class thinks. The English working class thinks the same as the English bourgeoisie does. This is a country where we have a bourgeois aristocracy and a bourgeois working class apart from the bourgeoisie proper, and a country that actually controls through its empire such a large proportion of the globe is not very surprising." So the point is that, you know, that working class revolution in the West, which is what Marx had pinned his hopes on, is something which, I mean, okay, what happened? Now that you've asked me, can I have some time? Yeah. You see, I mentioned that in the period of globalization, you are for the first time having, let's say, the wages of the American workers being linked to, they are competing against the workers of the third world. The wages of the American workers are linked to the low wages of the workers in the South, because if those wages rise, if trade unions demand higher wages, their capital simply moves to the South. Okay. This did not happen in the 19th century. This is the first time it's happening. Okay. This did not happen in the 19th century because labor was not allowed to move from the South to the North. It still is not, all these immigration controls and so on. Capital was juridically allowed to move from the North to the South, but it did not. The same thing which is happening today, namely American companies setting up factories in Vietnam or Indonesia or Malaysia, English companies did not set up factories in Bombay by shifting Lancashire textile industry to Bombay. They did not do that. So you had a situation where the world economy was segmented. Capital didn't move out, labor didn't move in. And as a result, with productivity increases, you had strong trade unions, and then the immigration helped that workers got higher real wages. This is not to say that they were exploiting anybody, okay? But on the other hand, the workers' disaffection was kept under control because there were significant wage gains. Many economists say, though this is a difficult proposition, that the share of wages in national income in both England and America remained more or less constant right until 1939. So which means that as productivity rose, real wages rose. This of course happened even more so after the Second World War. So there were various factors about the functioning of capitalism that actually made the kind of revolution that Marx had expected in Europe not possible. But on the other hand, those factors were not operating in the other countries. You know, Russia was an obvious example, and in any case, wherever capitalism came late, as I said, the agenda was set by the democratic revolution, and therefore the movement towards socialism was an outcome of the democratic revolution, like in China, like in Russia, and so on. But on the other hand, that left its own mark, because these were economies which had not developed as much, where you hardly ever had a democratic tradition. China went directly from a generalissimo to the revolution. Russia went from Tsarism to the revolution with a brief interlude of the February Revolution. So you did not have a democratic tradition. So quite often when people say communism is associated with dictatorship, that's not what communism is associated with. Countries in which the revolution took place, the historical context and experience and so on were such that they actually got trapped into one-party dictatorships. That's not the vision of communism.